welcome to Tune In Tuesday, where every Tuesday I start a new canvas for my upcoming series, Overtone, Shattering Silence. It's a 17-piece series, and I'm on piece 8 using the color Magenta. I also mixed pink, watermelon, and rose. If you'd like to learn more about those colors, you can find that in my Mix It Up video down in the description box below. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing to follow me on my journey. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see Finish It Friday for Magenta, ring the bell. So I got to go to the art supply store like I should have done. And I made my colors. They turned out well. Watermelon actually dried right around the color watermelon. So if you saw Mix It Up Monday, I was just like, maybe I should make it a little darker. But I actually liked how it turned out. So I will stick with using this with the white. And I liked how all of them dried. The magenta I felt like still kind of landed on the purple side. So I got to go to South City, or, oh, that's what they used to be called. They moved, and now they're St. Louis Art Supply. Their little logo there. It's not sponsored or anything. It's just where I love getting my art supplies from. They're always informative. Carson and Zena. So informative. Love helping. But I got some paint there to help me. To help me with my future ones, but to actually get the magenta that I'm looking for, I got some reds that I really wanted, and a nice blue in there. So we're gonna see what I can mix up today for magenta before I kind of creep into my painting a little bit more. And I like, I'm leaving this. It'll activate a little bit because they're watercolor. But normally I try to rub them out when I use the water. But I'm going to try to leave this on here. And I've done that for a few of the canvases so far. I guess I've taken the approach of taking all the color off and starting fresh, or waking the color up a little bit. Some I've just left, and I'm pretty sure this one I'm just gonna leave as much as I can, because I really like getting to see, and we'll see how much it sticks around, but I like getting to see like where I started on this and where I'm going for certain colors. And since watermelon is like more about the inner child, it's, to me, I kind of saw it as like, not that this is the case, but in my head I visualized like writing on the house walls when you know you're not supposed to, and being proud of myself for writing on the walls. I actually, I just have a great childhood memories. My mom was pretty liberal in the way that I was to express myself as an artist. So there, I used to, and this, I guess more of what it reminds me of, I used to melt crayons on the back porch in the sun, and it would be like this thick texture, and if you touched it, it was still like liquid and would adhere to your finger, dry to your finger, and you could peel it off. And this is just reminding me of that. I'm getting a lot of childhood feels, but that's also what these colors are good for, so that makes sense, most likely why I'm getting these childhood feels, which is fine with me. I'll stick with it. But I got a lighter pink this time, and more of a rosy kind of red, and I think that, one, this is what I should have used yesterday, and two, that it's going to give me the magenta that I was hoping to have. And I can already see it now that it is. So, and I am using watercolors, but I'm going to use them pretty thick. I'm not going to water them down too much. for this canvas. It's a little not too traditional way of using watercolors, I suppose, and maybe a little later I'll give back into that. It's getting closer to that rose color that I made, but right now I'm just gonna cake it on there. In my head I see these like worlds colliding, bringing my childhood up all the way through me and up to my Bindu, and expressing all of the love and joy that I want to radiate to everyone. And so that's why I feel like connecting with this childhood over here and to attract the relationships that I want over here with the rose will bring in this like pink letting love in, and the magenta, which will connect me to the deepest knowing of who I am, which I would like to say the deepest knowing of who I am would be radiating the most amount of love that I could and compassion that I could towards an individual. I wrote once, which we've heard before and some sayings, try not to get this wet, like love is blind, and I thought about that, and it can be interpreted any way that one would want to interpret that, but I kind of took that as like love is blind, but it's up to me how, if I was blind, how would I want love to be seen? How would that feel to me? And I think that's the approach that I took to that saying is, if I didn't know what love was, or what my belief in love was, or was told what it was, what would it mean to me? And that's really like, you really have to take yourself outside of what you've been taught and what you know and what you understand, and go on this like self discovery journey. And there's no right or wrong answer to it, but it did start making me like play situations in my head, negative and positive. Like, how did if I saw something negative to me, would I be able to find the love in a negative situation? And in some situations, like right off the bat, I was like, no, there's some really there's some really bad situations out there, and how could you dare find the love? And my understanding now is just like, okay, find the love that that person carried, find what that person would want if, you know, something terrible happened to that person. And, you know, it's like, follow the good that they cast it. So it's like, I don't cover the situation up. Like if it's a bad situation, yeah, there's needs to be addressed and it needs to be handled and spoken upon, but also making sure that that person's energy is being carried. So if they're a loving person, or however it is, if the good of them, allow that to carry, like allow that love. To me, that was the love. Allow that to shine no matter what the situation was. But that was just how it ended up being in my head to begin with, of like understanding what does love is blind mean. And sometimes we can be handed situations, and I saw that as a challenge to try to find all the good in the situation that I possibly could. I guess that was just a personal challenge to me, and like what that meant and my views since I was a child. What does that mean to me, and what am I willing to change about myself to improve my point of view, and the conversations I'm willing to have. And so that's kind of where that saying and that pink tone kind of kicks in for me. Still working on lighting, so bear with me. And kind of to jump back a little bit more, when I was talking about what is love is blind type of thing, and where will I see it, and it was just like, what questions am I willing to ask myself, what fears am I willing to overcome, what points of views am I willing to see, and I think that's what helps us have this deeper inner knowing that Magenta brings to us. And the more points of views that we have and more understandings from the different relationships that we have in our life, then the more perspectives that we have, and the more likely we are to connect with people. And I think that's part of the human nature. I mean, I guess it's my belief that I feel like that's part of the human nature experience, is for us to be connecting. Woo! I turned my lighting down, and in the last few videos I felt like everything's been like really bright, and it's hard to see. I got a new, like I said, I got a new light, so I'm really trying to figure it out, and I feel like this, you can really see. And like yesterday when I was mixing colors and I kept looking over at the monitor, I was like, to here to there, it wasn't really quite looking the same, and but I can tell here that, you know, it's very similar. But my point is for you all to be able to see, and for you all to be able to see the connection. And so I'm still working on that, but I do think lowering my light did just help that out a little bit more. Again, I'm always open to any feedback, so if you have feedback, please leave it in the comment area below. Like 20-something videos in, and I am no pro. When it comes to the recording world, I've, you know, only 20 videos. That's like just crowning, maybe. So feedback is very important to have. And if you have any more questions, or you ever want to go more in depth with the color, write me, ask me. I could talk about one color for an hour. I take a lot of these videos that I record live, and I break them down into shorter videos, so that way when you're watching, you kind of just get the gist or the point of what I'm wanting to get across. But there's always room for more conversation. Each color has its own meditation and its own practice, and what you can, and how you can actually use the color in your day-to-day life, different objects and different lights that you can use, or tones that you can use throughout your house, complementary or the master color. And what I mean by the master color, when I say that, it's the actual color that I'm focused on for the day. So like to me right now, my master color is the magenta color, along with the watermelon pink and rose, and these have a complementary color, which I'll get to, or have gotten to, and will get to throughout the series. And I say what the master color is. Like this one's turquoise. I haven't gotten to turquoise yet, but I will, and you'll learn about turquoise, and you'll learn about my experience with turquoise. And but my point is this: you can just always reach out to me, even though I haven't gotten to turquoise yet. Maybe you want to know a little bit about it right now. Just let me know. I like this brush a lot. I like the strokes that it's leaving. I really left this watercolor thick, so when I like to come in with water and my tuning forks, and so once this dries, and I put the water on top, I'll move it around just a little bit. One of my favorite parts about painting is seeing the colors like merge together and blend just right, or sometimes depending on the flow of the water, like two colors will ride right next together but still ride the same like flow or stream of the water, or the vibration that I'm casting, which is something that really warms my heart when I'm painting. A lot of times I'll just sit here and watch it happen, So there's a lot, so I'll fast forward through some of those parts. And every now and then I'll grab my phone and I'll even like show it on my Instagram story. Like, do you see how neat this looks? Because it's really truly one of my favorite parts. And I don't know. Some would say maybe that's the kid in me for appreciating color blending. But I think the kid is in all of us. I think that we all have it, but time has projected an interesting perspective on us and how we feel like we don't have time for things, or we need to be always in a hurry, or what a professional life is. And I feel like those things can really drain us from who we are as people, and what, I don't want to say what nature intended, but like there's so much around us, and the trees and the nature and life, and what we all as individuals have to offer. So I mean, yeah, I guess to me it does resonate of like, what did nature intend for us, and what are we making it out to be based on our perception. And because we think you're this age, you should be doing this, and you're that age, should you be acting this way, and even though I didn't want to activate it because of the watercolor on top of it now, and a little bit of water I added, some of these areas are definitely still getting reactivated, which is fine. It's part of the process. But I've said this before, I do really like texture, and working on the glass, I really have to work for the texture on here. The wood and regular canvas, wood what I usually work on, and canvas what I've worked on before, I didn't feel like I had to work for it, even though both of those materials can be pretty porous and absorb, whereas with the glass it's staying pretty surface. But I feel like it's so quick to just kind of lay flat. Everything's going to have a challenge. And I just not experienced in working with glass in this manner. Kind of back to the story I started to almost tell. In the beginning, I used to melt crayons on the back porch of my mom's. And, well, I only had her. But with my mom wouldn't mind that, and in the beginning of me doing art, where I liked melting crayons, like I love the smell of crayons also. It just brings back all these childhood memories of us always coloring together, and a lot of, like, that was my mom's way of us, one of my mom's way of us having some family time together, is just having a pack of crayons and a few coloring books or blank paper out there, and just having this silent time of creating. I enjoyed it. My point is I used to melt crayons on top of glass or inside of, I don't have any, but I have these glass like terrarium bowls, and I would melt crayons inside of that and flip it over and put a light bulb in there so it would glow out, and then the heat from the light bulb would also like slightly heat up the smell of the crayon, and I just loved it. I did that for a couple Christmases, like back in 2009. I do like pop-up shops, and I used to take crayons and iron it into tissue paper. I loved that delicate touch of tissue paper, and this like stable crayon, like, because once you melt it and it dries, it becomes pretty firm, and I loved that contrast of crayons in that way, but melting them also, which was really great to me. I guess so for my childhood, I reflect a lot to art, and I guess just the freedom that I had with art and all the crayon melting I was allowed to do, and somehow that's brought me to today to understand what is love and what questions am I willing to ask myself, and conversations am I willing to have, and what type of inner knowings do I really want to know about myself and about other people. I guess that's also like why I reflect to it too, is that when I think about childhood, and I feel like my mom was she listened, and I think that's like a healthy part when you want to attract a relationship, which is what Rose does for you. I guess it makes me reflect to what type of relationships did I have growing up. Not to each their own in their past childhood, but mine had some great moments, but I definitely come from some interesting experiences, and one of the thing I know I can reflect to, even in the times that I was scared to tell my mom things, or didn't tell her things but she found out, I was still, once I knew she was there, I was able to talk to her, and I knew she, I mean, being a mom, you want to respond and react, but I felt like she listened to me first, and I think that's a thing that carries over to me now when I feel comfortable talking to people, and what I feel like is a good, at least one attribute that I want in any type of friendship or partnership, business. I want to know that that person is actually going to listen to me and hear me out, even if it's not what they think, or they don't think that way, or haven't thought about it that way. And sometimes I can come with some out of the ball, like out of left park, or some type of saying I'm trying to say that I'm not getting right, but out of left field type of thoughts, and I want people to be able to hear those out. Maybe, and it's happened a lot, like when I've been given the space to say these things, it's worked, it's a different way of thinking, and people have appreciated it, and maybe not everything works, but like a key piece of what I'm saying works, or they understand, or it resonated, and those are the type of relationships I know that I enjoy. I may not say what everybody else is saying at the round table, but at least give me the opportunity to say what I want to say. Because what is a time and a place? It's our perception. Alright. I think I've rambled enough, or talked enough of some of my life experiences, and feel like I've definitely mentioned a few of my childhood experiences that I feel like connects me to who I am today, and the relationships that I want to have, and why I see that so symbolic, and why it became more of my topic for today. Of course, I'm going to let this dry. I really let these watercolors just sit and thicken them up. I really, when I activate them with the water, I want a lot of this layer to stay, more of the surface to kind of move around. It's an experiment. It's just a thought. We'll see how it actually goes, and finish it Friday. I'll do my time lapse, and you'll see. As always, I'll be giving a color study away on my Instagram. Here's a few examples of my past ones. So I'll have a magenta color one. I actually just got some new paper here. It's a lot thicker, so I like the paper that I have here now. I like how the texture feels. This paper is also nice. But I do like having a little bit of the thicker paper option. So thank you again, St. Louis Art Supply, for always walking me through my thoughts when I'm not quite sure what I'm exactly looking for. And on Friday, I pick a name out of this little glass box that I have, and I'll ship you a color study if your name's the one chosen. If you like me talking or like what I'm doing, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And if you want to see Finish It Friday or any further videos of mine and my journey, just ring the bell and that will send you a notification about my upcoming video. Thank you for joining me today.